Hello, Angela here. Let's talk about my deal for a minute. In my last video, I was 98% there. I was ready to take over this business and everything looked perfectly fine. So we were waiting for the contract from the landlord, from the property that I was leasing, where this business was operated in. And everything looked good on the first draft. They needed to make a little change in one of the clauses, and that usually takes what, 15 to 20 minutes for a good lawyer to do. And next thing we know, we're waiting a whole month for this lease to come back, and everyone's calling the landlords like something going on, what's happening. And we get this lease back a month later, and guess what they did? They wanted an increase for about 40 to 50%. Imagine if your rent went up almost 50% one day to another. That's a lot of money. So all of a sudden this wasn't even for business anymore. The landlord agreed that she would sign the lender waiver, which in this case was all my equipment for my beauty salon. In case I couldn't pay my loan, the bank wanted the equipment, and this landlord just said, no, I want the equipment if something goes wrong. Even though, you know, you have to pay a deposit to them, you have to pay extra money in case you can't pay your rent. So she would be sad in case of anything. So it's pretty much just agreed at this point. And the reason why I didn't just buy this business and go somewhere else, like find a new location, was simply because I'm paying for the location. That's what I want. I want this business, I want this location, because you create good Google reviews. The customers and the employees are comfortable here. They're happy, and in case you start bringing in a new owner, at the same time you just change up the location, what's gonna happen? People are gonna feel uncomfortable. They might even be thinking, should I just try somewhere else? It's just not the same. So the value of this business went down. So I wasn't gonna pay $300,000 to go find a new location myself, to build new rooms and, you know, do all this decoration and stuff. It's just too much work for too much money, pretty much. So what I'm doing now, I'm already looking at other businesses. I've actually been to a meeting, and yeah, looking. I'm still in shock because this wasn't what we expected. But you know, stuff happens. So business buyers, you should definitely look at the real estate that you're getting yourself into. Are you going to be leasing, or are you buying the property? You definitely don't want to deal with a bad landlord. And I will still be buying a business because I'm obviously still excited about that part, and now I know what to do and what not to do. It's kind of funny because I have been using Jason's program. He made this like study guide, step 1, step 2, get your commitment letter, step 4, and that you have business. So that has actually been how I done it, and now I actually know how to do it and be confident. I believe in my ability to do this because I came this far thanks to the greedy landlord. I'm not getting this business, but it's okay. Maybe that wasn't meant to be. So my next one, I'll definitely have. So let's see what happens. Let's see if Jason has anything to add on, and have a nice day. Yeah.
Hey, Jason here, and I think Angela shared the news that her deal did not go through. I saw a couple of comments. I dropped a video the other day on my YouTube channel saying, oh, why wouldn't you have gone for a different lease? Like, why wouldn't you have just bought the property? A couple of things that have to be acknowledged. First of all, this business was really dependent on the customer experience and the existing location of the business with these landlords that were impossible to negotiate with. That property was the heart and soul of that business. And I think rightfully, Angela was reluctant to try to switch the business to a new location, because in doing so, you would jeopardize the Google listing that had the SEO, the search engine optimization momentum that it had tied to that address. You would lose the customer experience. It would cost a lot of time and money to make a new place look and feel like the existing place. And there's also the risk that people just aren't going to get comfortable in a new location. So there was a ton of entrepreneurial risk associated with moving to a new location. So that's why she didn't just willy-nilly move to a new location. As an aside, in my business, you can easily move to a new location because customers don't really care when you provide plumbing or HVAC services where your office is being, where the guys are being dispatched from, where your headquarter office is. We very rarely have customers come into our office. So different types of businesses are more dependent or not on the specifics of the real estate. Okay, why didn't she buy the real estate? Because the sellers were completely uninterested in selling. It was a non-starter. So the punchline is they were absolutely unreasonable with the lease. They literally wouldn't sign the second lien, putting the collateral of the business second to the lender. So they literally refused to do a deal. I mean, literally, they categorically refused to do a deal with the lender as the first lien holder on the collateral. The landlords wanted first lien rights to the collateral on top of a first month's, a security deposit and a last month's rent and a personal guarantee. I mean, it was crazy. So very, very difficult situation with all of that. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Not all deals make sense. And once the real estate component fell through, I think it's fair to say, and Angela can share more, but I think she felt like the economics of the deal no longer made sense. And as much as I know some people in the comments like to say things like, oh, you got to be a hard closer, you got to be a hard closer, hammer close, push through. Look, most of the people who are saying that, in my opinion, have never really signed on the dotted line and guaranteed something and really bought a business, bluntly. And what I'm here to tell you as a guy who has bought businesses, and it's not to say that people who haven't bought businesses are less important or anything. Everyone's the same as far as everyone dies at the end and everybody wakes up in the morning. But what I'm getting at is it takes that experience of having bought a business to recognize that not all business acquisitions make sense. Not all business acquisitions make sense. This idea of just close, just close, just close, just close is great to a point. There's an essence of that that's valuable. You gotta be able to close the right deal. You also have to have the discipline to walk away when the deal is wrong. And that's really what happened there. I think Angela handled it great. Am I biased? Yes, but not in the context of business. Sure, Angela and I have a relationship personally, but as it relates to business, bias has to stop at the front door. I'm here to advise her to make the right business decisions, and I think she did just that with this transaction. Otherwise, I know she'll share more, but she's looking for more deals, and I'm trying to think what other elements need to be discussed here. I mean, the punchline is she had her commitment letter from the lender. Everything was ready to go. The lender went through hoops to try to get this deal through. The right lender will be such a huge asset for anybody who's trying to buy a company, but it didn't matter. At the end of the day, it didn't matter. So that's that as far as what I have to say relating to this deal.